Welcome to our session on the Young Entrepreneur Pitch Toolkit and how to facilitate the message map session. The importance of being able to make a pitch is critical, but what is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is a slang term used to describe a brief speech that outlines the idea for a product, service, or project. The name comes from the notion that a speech should be short enough to be delivered in the short time period of an elevator ride, usually 20 to 60 seconds. We all need to be able to make a persuasive elevator pitch, whether it's for a homework extension, a prom date request, a job interview, or even selling your kids on doing a chore. It's a lifelong skill. At Young Entrepreneur Institute and the Ohio Afterschool Network, we pitch the idea of building the entrepreneurial mindsets of the students in your classroom or after school program. So that's why we're here today. The Young Entrepreneur Pitch Toolkit is a series of lessons that culminates in students delivering a pitch for their business idea. And this is an outline of the Young Entrepreneur Pitch Toolkit. Today we're talking about that red circle, pitch content and structure. On our next training, we're going to help students refine their pitches and explore how you can plan a virtual or in-person pitch challenge. So today's session, just to review, is going to help you prepare your students to create and deliver their pitch. And storytelling is essential in any business. It makes us care, and when we care, we respond. When we are selling or pitching something, we want to tell a story that helps us get what we want. A pitch is a clear, concise, and compelling way to tell your story. I'm Liz Nuskin with the Ohio After School Network, and I'm pleased to introduce my colleague, Robin Eisen. He's going to take it away.
Thanks, Liz. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm going to go back to our toolkit, and as you know, in all of our lessons, we have a warm-up activity, a main event, and pitching practice. And this particular lesson is no different. I recommend, or we recommend, that you start off with your warm-up activity, and in this case, our activity is your favorite cookie. You're going to want to ask your participants to stand up and describe what their favorite cookie is and why it's unique and why it's important and what characteristics do they like about it. You're going to want to make sure that they give you some good eye contact, that they're talking in a great way, and really look at the presentation skills for today, but just take a look at them. We're going to be dealing a little bit more with that in our next lesson, but it's always good to practice and to kind of remind people. In the toolkit, we have a lot of other supplemental activities, and today I'm going to go over one with you. It's part of telling a story, and it's called the Pixar Pitch or the Story Spine. And this is a really fun way that your whole class is going to be able to participate in telling a story. The spine itself starts with once upon a time. And what you're going to want to do is, either if you're on Zoom or you're in a classroom, define an order that the students are going to be able to participate and jump in. So maybe it's just directly like this, maybe it's alphabetical, however you do it. But what you're going to do is you're going to start and say once upon a time, and then the student fills in whatever it is. The next thing you say is every day. And another student, a different student, fills it in until one day, and then a different student fills in what that one day is. Then you do 3 because of that, because of that, because of that, because of that, until finally, and then and ever since then. It's the moral of the story. The students really have a fun time with this, and then what I do after they finished it is I kind of give a little synopsis. Okay, once upon a time this happened, and every day this happened, until one day something different happened. And because of that, because of that, because of that, until finally and ever since then. And what happens is the students think of some really funny, unique stories. And I ask them, okay, imagine, what are we selling with this? What kind of business is this story? And you can get everything from an actual service to a product to, 2 or 3, 4, 5 different kind of ideas of what that story can entail. But the real goal here is to show them that what they're doing is really looking and thinking in their mind. They're picturing whatever that product or service or person, whatever they were doing, they're really picturing and having a good mental image of what that story is. And that's what you're trying to get across, because that is memorable. That is a really good tool. Then what we do is we go to our main event, which is the message map. And in this message map, we have a really good, strong tool called the message map. And Liz is going to bring up our resource for you. It is a YouTube video, and it's called the message map, how to pitch anything in 15 seconds. And I strongly recommend that you watch this with your participants. It's less than 5 minutes, and it is a very strong way that you can structure your pitch. In fact, what we've done, and Liz, I think I'm going to share now. What we've done is we've been able to take that video after you watch it, and for the bulk of what you're going to be doing today, we're going to be filling in this message map. Now, the one I have up here is completely fill-inable or editable. We also have in our toolkit a hard copy so that you can hand out this particular sheet to your students if you're in person, or you can fill it in with them if you're online. What you want to do here is spend a lot of time in this lesson actually completing this. This is the bulk of this lesson. You want to make sure that they put their name here so that in their pitch, they actually say their name and that they have a business name. Then the next thing that's important is creating a hook. Now, I like to say in this hook is where you can put in your story spine if you want. Another way to create a hook is just to ask a question or tell a story in a different way. But what you really want to do is grab that person's attention, because that's all part of storytelling and it's all part of creating your message. The next thing that you're going to want to have your participants do is make sure that they have 3 different advantages. And under those advantages that they have details. In here, in the details, those are the things that are like data or facts or statistics or even people who like it. You want to make sure that you have that. And one really important thing to make sure you go over is the difference between an advantage and a detail. A lot of times I'll get students who say one of the advantages is that it's 2 for 1. Well, the advantage really isn't that it's 2 for 1. The advantage is the larger thing that you're competing on, and that would be you're competing on price. And the detail is that it's 2 for 1. So what we're trying to do here is really create a funnel to make sure that we have all the important information here. Then the last thing is your call to action. You want to make sure that every single pitch that ends, or at least at some point, has a way for the person who you're pitching to be able to know where to go. And again, in this particular case, we're not looking for to make sure that you own that URL or that you own a brick and mortar store. We're just wanting to make sure that you don't forget to let your customer know where to get in touch with you or how to get in touch with you. You don't actually have to have a brick and mortar store or a URL. You just actually have to make sure you tell people to do that. This is the message map, and while it looks like it's pretty easy, if you really take your time and fill this in with good advantages and good solid details, you'll have a solid message. That is the structure that we recommend that you use. It is not something that you have to go in the order from top to bottom when you actually go through your message, when you actually go through your pitch, but everything there needs to be included. So we got a lot of pitches where the students forget to tell us their name. You can't forget to tell us your name if you make sure everything on there was included. And I hope that that was pretty clear for you guys. The next thing that you're going to want to do once all your students have their message map completed is to break off into groups and to practice going through and sort of reading it to make sure that there aren't any holes. This isn't the same thing as actually pitching it. It's really reading it to make sure that the content is complete. When you're done with that, and I recommend about 7 minutes for that, you can come back together and give a chance of pitching it, maybe for 5 minutes or so. Or like all of our lessons, we do have a pitching component. If you don't want to put the students up there pitching this particular product or service, you can always use what we have in our toolkit, which is the pitch practice of the pen exercise, which is also an amazing opportunity for the students to get up and pitch. Either way, either one is good, but you want to make sure that you have left a little bit of opportunity for the students to practice pitching in this lesson also. And that's the story of how you put it together into a really good message and how you practice your story. Liz, I'll turn it back to you.
Great, thanks, Robin. I'm just going to share our contact information here. If you need to get a hold of us, we're here to help you be successful in your classroom or program. There are websites and our contact information. So this is the third in our series of 4 trainings. The next one will be a video training on how to help your students practice their pitches and prepare to film or to actually make their pitch in a live pitch challenge, which can be done virtually or in person. So we hope that by the end of this session, you and your students are going to be pros at making elevator pitches and will continue to use this lifelong skill. We'll see you in the next session. Thanks for being with us.